Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information, ladies and gentlemen. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight. What do I mean by that? I mean, anybody who shows up on this show with me here, which I normally have some guests on, or they're on my twice a week long form podcast, you guys, they are a transportation professional, okay? They have done what you're looking to do, or they are currently doing what you're trying to do as well, you guys, because it's all about value, right? I want to put information out there that you guys can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's the whole point of this show, you guys, is to put the real stuff out there, the real side of freight, so you guys can see some success. You know, it's one of the many reasons why I probably fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, it's the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you guys live your American dream as well. Yeah, back in studio this week. I am not traveling for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be back down. I'll be back out on the road and going out into the TIA conference out in Orlando in end of April. And other than that, though, you guys, we're going to be rocking and rolling here. We're going to be building stuff out. Today's show, we're going to talk about leading in. We're going to talk about building like how to actually prospect a customer. And then I also received a DM about cold calling, you know, and kind of like where to start and everything. So we're going to lead into the show with that, and then we'll break down some industry headlines if we get time for that, you guys, because that's the whole point of this show, you guys, is the sales and operations related questions that you guys need have out there in the industry. All right, I'll answer all of those over some of these articles, and that's what we're going to do. All right, that's what we do every single day. So if you have any sales or operations related questions out there, you guys, drop them in the chat, DM them to me, and I'll answer them live on the show to help out in any way I possibly can. But before we do anything else, you guys, I got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub, VHubApp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, we all need access to trailers at some point in time. And especially the best part about with what they have, you get paid to move these trailers. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's on top of the revenue that you can get by loading these trailers out. And with what they're working on right now, you guys, is they have West Valley City, Utah, going up into Calgary, Alberta, and you get $1,550 US to move that trailer. They also, now think of it like this, you guys, again, as we're thinking of ways to help stand out in the crowd, creating a drop trailer pool or having access to create a drop trailer pool at some of your large enterprise shippers is so key to get in the door with them. And then they have that here on VHub, you guys. So they have 150 trailers down in Paragould, Arkansas, needing to get up to Mississauga, Ontario. You get 1,000 Canadian to move each of those trailers. And then they have the exact same one. There's about 200 over in Stoughton, Wisconsin, needing to go to Milton, Ontario. So again, this is how you can position yourself with your prospects to get in the door and speak to them about drop trailer capacity. You can now offer that through VHub. They also have Paragould, Texas, going down to, Paragould, Arkansas, going down to Irving, Texas. You get $550 US to move that. They have Milton, Ontario, going to Moncton, New Brunswick. You get 400 Canadian to do that. And then finally, you guys, they got some trailers down in San Diego, Ron Burgundy's hometown, San Diego, California, going out to Laredo, Texas, and you get 700 US to move that, you guys. So hit them up, vhubapp.com. My friends Xavier Campos, Stacy Steen, Zach Lonergan, he's already here. You guys, hit them up. Do me a favor, let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Comments are blowing up this morning. I love it. Louis, what's up? He says, good morning. Sanjay Singh, hi, nice to see you. Thanks for joining in. Sonny Sharma, good morning. Hashtag Orange Shirt Gang. That's right. Sonny's the founding member of the Orange Shirt Gang that we got going on out here. Renee Matthews, good morning. Thermal Hadley, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Tracy St. Clair, good morning. Happy Monday. She's watching over on YouTube. I go live on YouTube every single day and Twitter. I'm on Twitter as well with all this shit. Yeaston Martinez, morning. Thanks for tuning in. It says, good morning, Chris. Love your advice from LinkedIn user. You got to update your security settings out there. I found that. Luke, what's up, my man? Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Kat Aikens. Hey, good morning, coach and everyone. Thanks for tuning in. JJ Jones is in the house. Jerome Jones, what's up, man? How's everything going for you? He's out. You're out in Texas, right? No, you were Ohio. You were on Friday. We were talking about your building up your direct relationships out there. And then Dan, the driver row, what is up, my man? Good to see you out here in the audience. He's from Cincy. I eat berries every day, Dan. I've thoroughly adopted a anti-inflammatory diet for a lot of the stuff. I got some health stuff that I'm focusing in on. And yeah, I eat berries every single day, especially because of the pictures that you post out there. Cameron List, good morning. Happy Monday. James Davis, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. My man Zach's out here. Cam, what's up? Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Paul McClellan, he says, let's get it, Jolly. He's out in Cleveland. That's right, Jerome. And Catherine, good morning to you as well. Lorena, what is up? I love today's topic. She loves cold calls, she says. So yeah, that's, the first, we're gonna lead in with this, you guys, because it is probably the most DM thing I get is how do I cold call or how do I sell? And for me personally, there's so many different avenues that you can take. Obviously, if you follow me or you've watched some of my stuff, you guys, I'm all about the niche, right? Like I'm all about choosing one freight type, one commodity, one trailer type, whatever that looks like, and building out from there. I had a conversation with a gentleman this weekend. He's hungry. He's young in the industry. He's got his own company and he's building it up. And we talked about this, and it's exactly what I'm doing inside of my own brokerage. And yeah, I do have a lot of experience in here, but I'm still going after one freight type. And there's so much power in that right now, because again, the repetitions that you want are going to come through putting in the work and going after one thing, because there is so much opportunity out there. We can get lost in that, right? Because when you hear a $900 billion a year industry or fucking trillion, whatever the hell they want to call it, it's information overload, right? So it forces you to chase markets or chase commodities and get some, like it just throws you off. And and I use this is building up my own companies here over these last couple of years, because I've been I started everything out of my bedroom on my laptop, and building it up. I was going after one thing. Like when I was creating content, I wasn't creating content for the sake of creating content, right? Like I wasn't trying to be a fucking guru or anything like that. Or I wanted to talk about transportation, right? And I attribute a lot of the success that I've had in content creation to the fact that I only talk about transportation. And there's a direct correlation to building up your book of business. And how does that tie into prospecting a customer? I think that there's such an oversight on this, where what do you even say on the phone, right? How do you even prospect a customer? What do you know? This is why I hate cold call KPIs. I hate the hit the 100 mark or whatever that looks like. I want to be hyper focused in on going after a very similar customer profile overall, because generally they all have the same issues, right? Generally, I can sell based off of every single construction equipment manufacturer that's out there. I know what a lot of their headaches are based on the fact that I move a lot of building materials and I move a lot of construction equipment. So how do I prospect them? Obviously, you guys, Google, phenomenal tool. You don't need lead generation software. If you can afford it, it's amazing. I use it in mine, but it's not required, right? So utilizing Google, going out there, searching the customer's website. All the information you guys want on there is on their website, or it's on LinkedIn in particular. So for me, I'm going out there and I'm looking at their facilities. I'm looking at exact products. I'm not just, hey, I want to find out more about your operation. I don't believe in that approach. I have never once mentioned I can save them money or that I have access to trucks, because I feel like as a broker, I better have access to trucks, or why am I even wasting their time? I think that, again, it's like, how do you build up trust and rapport from that first outreach? Because as you start making cold calls, as you start reaching out to people, I just need them to remember Chris, right? I need them to remember Chris, Freight Coach Logistics. Chris, Freight Coach Logistics. That's it. That's my big takeaway from any of these things. But I have to position myself in a way that I know what I'm talking about. I don't reach out to prospects to learn more about their business. I know everything about their business. I know where their locations are. I know how many different products they have. I'm not just like reaching out as a generalized thing. I'm using exact product numbers and everything that's out there, because I want them to know that I have done my research on their stuff. Because when you do start cold calling, right? And you get them on the phone, you have like 15 seconds to captivate their attention. Maybe 30 seconds, right? And how do we get to them right away? And how do we get them to notice them? You can't say, hey, I'm calling, I'm a freight broker. I do dry van, reefer, flatbed, air, whatever you need. I can do any of it, because I'm not fluid in that regard. I'm very fucking good at a couple of things. Can I accommodate other moves in due time? Yes, absolutely. But as I'm building, as I am going after a specific target market, that's all I'm going to go after. I'm not going to look at my prospecting list and be like, hey, I'm going to call Caterpillar today. And then, on that next call after it, I'm going to call fucking Kraft Foods. There are so many contrasting types inside of that business that there's nothing relatable out there. So as you're building it up, go after the exact same thing. As you expand out, yes, you can do more of that. But again, if I'm going to accurately prospect a customer, I'm going to call them with knowing everything about their organization that is publicly available to them. And literally, you guys, you can find this in about 3 minutes. Okay. You can find this in about 3 minutes in total. Going out there, you can find out who you need to directly reach out to. That's the beauty of LinkedIn. If you don't, I'm not paid by LinkedIn, but if you don't have a LinkedIn premium subscription, spend the $180. All right. It is the best investment that you can make in that because it lists out all of this stuff on there and you want that. All right. You need to know who to reach out to. You need to know exactly what they're doing. And that is how I accurately prospect a customer. I'm not just getting a phone number and then calling them and then trying to learn that stuff on the fly. Take a couple of minutes and be prepared. The tonality in your voice changes when you're going into a cold call opportunity. Because again, it was Lena. Good morning, Lena. And we were talking about what do you say? As you're cold calling, what do you say? Again, when you're calling the same prospects time and time again, again, I'm reaching out to you. I'm very familiar with your operation. I know you have facilities in X, Y, and Z. You can say that, or I'm very familiar with this product as I haul it extensively for other customers of mine. Again, it's building up that familiarity. Moving a lot of open deck and heavy haul freight, I knowing the difference, if equipment needs to be chain strapped, edge protectors, PPE, all of that stuff is very key as you're going out there. And those are the things that they look for as you're talking to prospects. I have shippers on the show a lot, you guys, and they really give you everything. I have past episodes that are out there. They tell you how to prospect them inside of that. Because again, you don't want access to everything because if you wouldn't be able to handle it in your current structure if they gave you 100 shipments today. So again, build up, be open to the fact and accept the fact that it is going to take time, especially in this market. It is going to take a lot of time. You're going to have to work extra hard to get noticed out there because we're all the same when we're first reaching out, right? We're all the same. In time, as we expand, as we get further and further down there, because the power is in the follow-up here, that is where you're going to separate yourself from all the competition. That is where you prove yourself, because I always look at it like this, and this is what I tell myself almost every single day. The selling is the easy part, right? The cold calling, the prospecting, that's the easy part, because the real work always starts when they send you that first rate confirmation. When that truck is supposed to show up tomorrow at 2 p.m., that's when the real work starts. That's when you have to fucking prove yourself. So that's my little soapbox this morning. Went a little bit longer, but you know what? It's my show. I can do whatever the fuck I want. We are going to get into some headlines here. I'm going to get caught up in some of the comments. Jesus, blowing up today. Brandy, what is up? She says, good morning, everyone. Mike Mikulik, what's up? Mike's with SPI Logistics, you guys. That's who I got my freight agency from. If you guys want to take control of your financial future, if you guys don't want to think, am I next in the layoffs? Because that's kind of bleeding all over the headlines all the time, jump over to SPI, you guys. Jump over and start it. Bet on you. All right. I'll never lay myself off. I'll tell you that right now. So reach out to SPI. Lena Glass, good morning. Says, morning, Chris. I never get a chance to tune in. So excited to have some time here to actually watch. I appreciate you tuning in. Let me see here. We got Kevin Peterson. Good morning, everyone. Rick Wooten, what's up? Good morning. Xavier Campos says, hashtag Freight Coach Rocks. Appreciate you, man. Jerome says, back to the question you answered on Friday, is it possible in this market just one driver to get direct customers? Absolutely it is. It will always be possible for you to go and get direct customers, man. Whether you have one truck, there's a need out there. Just get in there. get in there and try, man. Not everybody's going to say yes, and once you know that, that's all you need to be concerned about. And get out there. I mean, one truck operations get set up with shippers all the time. Riches are in the niches, laser targeting, love it. Let me see here. James Crowley, good morning. Timothy Rogers says gold gems, love it. Appreciate that, man. Papa Freight's in the house. Good morning, all. Tony, I don't need Drage. Darnell says, I'm just here for this, just to see if the freight coach guy knows what he's talking about. Oh, Tony, man, I appreciate that post this morning, dude. I was going to text you here in a little bit, but I appreciate that a lot, man. It never, man, you've been a part of this pretty much since I first started, and hearing positive words from your friends never gets old, man. So I appreciate that a lot. All right, first article we're going to break down today. ttnews.com, incentivizing driver excellence, how in-cab technology is enabling merit-based driver pay programs. To remain competitive in a persistently changing labor market, trucking companies and fleet operators are exploring performance-based pay models to help boost driver retention and recruiting. These programs typically reward drivers with additional pay for achieving high marks on safety and fuel economy, but implementing these incentives in a fair and effective way is only possible through gathering the right information. The latest in-cab technologies are providing detailed, real-time data that manages the need for these merit-based pay programs. Things are really pushing toward modifying the pay model to be more encompassing of the realities that the driver faces. And it goes on to say telematics systems and in-cab applications capture driving habit information that determines how well individual drivers are meeting company safety and efficiency goals. From Trimble Transportation, it says our role is to provide that core data, the objective data that can be hard to pull out all of these different systems and enable our customers to make the right choices in how they score drivers. And technology vendors said the scoring and gamification elements inherent to performance incentive programs spark driver interest, engagement, and retention. If we can all align applications and software gamification toward positive metrics that reward results, that tends to lead to a high effective population of drivers. And then let me see here. Modern onboard technologies exceed the simple data gathering capabilities of earlier systems. And then they're also saying quickly, people understand that measuring was just one thing, but feedback was the most important aspect of things. Real-time feedback is beneficial because you can't improve what you don't know. And that said Jean-Sebastian Bouchard. He's the co-founder and vice president of sales at telematics provider Isaac Instruments. And then it goes, Isaac's system generates scorecards out there for drivers. And now it's implementing driver incentive programs. And before I continue to read down this article, if you're a leader in a business right now, or you're a business owner, do not make incentive structures a fucking Venn diagram and hard to follow. Your team should always know exactly what they're getting paid. They should never have to question what their bonus is going to be. It should all be very clear. It should be as clear as glass on how it's going to be. And don't change that stuff either. Like as a sales rep, the most demotivating thing out there was when my boss would say, hey, I know you had a record month last month. We got to raise your goals now. We got to talk about raising your goals. Like that never makes you want to sell more. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Stop fucking with your people's money. All right. And then you can see how much money it's actually costing you. All right. Implementing incentive programs. Transitioning to a performance-based pay model that increases hiring and retention begins with trucking companies identifying as key performance indicators. Let me see here. And then sources also recommend identifying driver behaviors such as speed control or lane changes that correlate with those KPIs. We adapted the technology to weigh each category based on how important we feel those categories are. And then Isaac Bouchard's comments recommend, starting slowly and growing the program in accordance with best practices. Trimble's Orban emphasized talking with drivers about the incentives that they find value. I think that would be very key, is getting the drivers' feedback on exactly what they want and to have that be a part of it. And I think like it's also very closely correlated into freight brokerages as well here. You want your team to know exactly how they're incentivized on. Because again, I don't like, to my earlier comment, like I don't believe in the 100 cold call a day KPI if you get 99 voicemails, right? Like what traction are you really making there? I believe in having KPIs, which if you're not familiar with those are, is key performance indicators. For me, the most important ones as a sales rep are current customer growth, customers onboarded, and then overall numbers. Those are the ones that I want to see, because I know that there's going to be days where you're not going to get any responses from anybody. Is that a loss? Absolutely not. You're planting the seed and you're going for it. It's the overall things. As long as you're onboarding customers, as long as you're growing with your current customers, as long as we're retaining quality carriers to haul our freight and our overall numbers are improving, that's what I'm concerned about. Because I think, that's my big concern, because I think you can over KPI somebody to where it's like micro fucking managing to its point. So I think, again, there's a lot of great information out there. If you're a fleet owner, on steps to implement driver incentive programs that are out there. So I would check this out, ttnews.com, incentivizing driver excellence. And I put the links to all these articles up over on YouTube, as well as the Coffee with a Freight Coach audio only replay of this, which is available on iTunes and Spotify almost immediately after the show. And if you guys saw value in this, do your boy a solid. If you go over those other platforms, subscribe, share, and rank it. Hit that 5-star if you think I gave 5-star information out here. I said, Lena says, sounds like I know my business. I appreciate that, Lena. Stephen Mason says, I got a shipper here in Florida when it was just me and my truck. Now I have 3 trucks and 3 drivers. Let's help each other succeed. Every day, man. Every day, Stephen. I remember that, man. In you starting out, and you were on my show, dude, and you were literally waiting to get loaded up. I remember that. Yeah, Tony, exactly. Paid by the mile, regulated by the minute. Amen to that. All right, second article that we're going to break down today is from FreightWaves. Analysis reveals how trillions in pandemic aid led to freight volume explosion. About 2.3 trillion in extra income led to a historic uptake in freight volumes. I think that is the most accurate headline that I've seen out here. And that explains a lot of the massive increase in freight volumes. It explains the port backups, the shortages, all of that stuff, because there was such a drastic spike into it. And this is why you guys, as you're out there planning, as you're out there looking towards the future, the last 2 years, 21 and 22, are very hard. Yes, they're data points that you need to take into consideration, but this headline says it what it is. Because if you remove that from this, because the rates were sky high, it was literally pandemonium at most parts, because people just needed to get shit moved. They were doing whatever to get their freight out there on the shelves. So taking that into consideration, look at past historical data, you guys, 17, 18, 19, leading up to everything paints a very clear picture on how 23, 24, and 25 are probably going to perform out there. Because even with the spike in all of this stuff, you guys, if you've been in this industry for a long time, or if you haven't, the freight market, that spike lasted about as long as it always does, 18 to 24 months. Whether it's a record high in rates or it's a low market, it always lasts about 18 to 24 months since I got into this industry, and it held firm on that. The only anomaly that persisted throughout was how high the rates spiked and for how long they sustained at that, because it removed all seasonality from it. It was $8 a mile for fucking 18 straight months. There was no slight dip. There was none of that. That was the big thing to me. But the market lasted as long as it normally does when it's a spike up or a spike down out there. So 31% of the 2.3 trillion came through April to July in 2020. And another 33% came from January to April of 2021. In other words, nearly 2/3 covered just in an 8-month span. Unexpectedly, that led to a historic uptick in freight volume and rates, which now when you're looking at other headlines about how the market is completely fell apart and how it's dropped drastically, this is where you need to look at data points from pre-pandemic times. Okay, because if you're looking at 17, 18, and 19, the overall freight volume that you're seeing right now is very much in line to non-pandemic induced hysteria. Okay, so that's just one thing to look at as you're subjectively reading some of this information that's out there. As always, you guys, I'm not saying that there isn't real shit that's going on, but there's an opportunity out here. Okay, there's an opportunity that's out there. And it goes on, the federal government issued stimulus checks. We're talking about that, how they came up with 2.3 trillion. And that was the pandemic's government support estimated that was based on funding categories listed in the effects of selected federal pandemic response programs. Certain COVID era stimulus packages remain, and their end could cut down trucking volumes even more. Pending ongoing litigation and years-long pause on repayment of federal student loans may soon be lifted, which would impact some 40 million people out there. And certain federal benefits for low-income Americans, like enhanced food and all that stuff, are going to be going out. And these rollbacks were inevitable, and it could further change the trucking market. But again, I think decent article overall, because it did bring up the fact that what caused the pandemonium, excuse me, sorry, I went to public school, that would cause a pandemonium out there. And then also the external factors of, when we're working in a global economy like we are, and another country decides to shut down for 30 days where the majority of our manufacturing is done at, obviously that causes a lot of issues, and that causes a spike in demand for when they start shipping again and all of that stuff out there. That is why I want to see a major, major resurgence in onshoring, not just nearshoring. I want to see manufacturing jobs brought back to the United States. I am unapologetically a pro-American job proponent. I will always be that. You will not change my opinion on that at all, because of a lot of what I saw over these last couple of years, all but solidified that. And I think that led to a lot of the historic spikes in some of the freight that we saw out there. But again, now we're back to here, right? We're back here right now. How do you look at things? And I think that what you're seeing, because again, it's going to take a lot longer to onboard customers than it has. Again, what value are you bringing in every single outreach out there? I have friends that are shipping managers. No, I don't actively solicit them at all. They know that I'm a broker, but I'm not going to sit here and ruin any of that stuff to try and do anything, because they know what I do at the end of the day. But they share a lot of this information and this insight with me, you guys. And the overwhelming majority of freight brokers, I would say fucking 95 to 97%, say the exact same thing in their message. Plug and play some of the verbiage, all right? Because someone's going to bring up semantics and be like, oh, well, fucking blah, 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 blah. You're all doing the same shit. That's why you're not getting noticed. And even if you are doing it differently, say you are one of those individuals who's very direct and you're very niche based in it, you're doing a lot of what we talked about here, you're just not getting noticed at that time. And that's not to say that the customer or the prospect that you're going after doesn't see your stuff. They just haven't responded yet because they don't have a need for you. Or you filled out an RFP, you talk to them, and you haven't heard anything back, and it's been a couple of weeks. They might just not need you right now. All right. But what value can you add? And that's what you have to look at here. No matter what value are you adding to your prospects every given opportunity? How are you positioning yourself for when they have that opportunity for you? Because if you stop following up with them, if you stop reaching out, and again, if you've talked to them, stop saying you have access to trucks. Like, again, they fucking know, because that's like very basic stuff. But you need to look at it of what information that you provide to somebody that could benefit their organization with getting nothing in return. All right. That's what you need to focus on. It's not about the transaction today. It's what can you do to build up valuable information and provide valuable information to them over the next 6 to 12 months, because the freight's going to go somewhere. I'm not going to stop following up. I'm not going to stop prospecting. I'm not going to stop reaching out, because I know that this is a 12-month game. All right. This goes on 12 months out of the year. Freight's going to be moving. All right. You got to ask yourself this: is it going to be with you, or is it going to be with your competition? But that is it for today, you guys. The Freight Coach Morning Show. We will be back tomorrow. We go live every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. As always, if you guys have any sales or operations related questions you want answered live on the show, DM them over to me or drop them in the chat. I will answer them live on the show. But that's it for today, you guys. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.